Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. We're coming to you live from Money 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Joining me for this segment, we have Victor Wang, CEO of Stockpile. We're here to discuss the current ideologies in financial literacy programs for youth, one of our favorite topics on Trade Talks. Victor, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you.
All right, tell us about Stockpile.
Stockpile is a financial app to teach kids and families about responsible investing and building good financial habits.
It's interesting, you sat on a financial literacy panel today called Financial Literacy is BS.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I think one of the big kits that we see just industry-wide is just that what we think is going to create change in behavior and learning from kids really doesn't. I think study after study from Harvard studies, cross-sectional studies, all find the same thing. The thing that we think is going to change behavior actually doesn't. And I think one of the things, some of the leading proponents around state-based education, like financial literacy requirements, ultimately don't change what people do after they take their classes, and what we think is that that needs to change.
Why do you think current financial literacy programs have been so unsuccessful?
One of the big things we talk about is there's a big say-do gap. We say one thing, we do another. Testing and classes just teach the say part. It doesn't teach the action part. So one of the things I think is really critical for all financial apps is really building, for kids especially, good financial habits with real hands-on experience, and creating a good conversation between parents and kids to understand how to make the right choices that matches the current family's values and what kind of choices they want them to make.
So what should we be doing instead? Should it be more gamified? Should it be more dynamic?
Ultimately, we want to make sure we're facilitating the conversation between parents and kids. I think we did a bunch of research last year, and one of the things we saw was that the number one place where kids want to learn about finances is from their parents. It's higher than social media, it's higher than their friends, it's higher than school. What's interesting is that we don't know anything else where kids want to talk to their parents most of all. What's interesting is that the parents have the opposite view. The parents are most uncomfortable talking about money. They would rather talk about sex, birth control, death, before they talk about money. And so the key for us is how do we create that conversation so that people can build like family attitudes around money and how to make good choices.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because, clearly there's differences when it comes to generational wealth. Perhaps some people have never experienced wealth. Every family has a different situation. Perhaps the parents just don't even know how to talk about it. It's not even being uncomfortable, but they just know how to talk about it. And I don't think it's a one-size-fits-all solution.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because one of the things that we've seen is that, from interviews with parents, one of the things they bring up is that, one of their priorities is they want their kids to understand how to create a budget and manage a budget. The vast majority of parents that we talk to don't have a budget themselves.
Right.
And so that's a very common thing. And so what's important is that to kind of break that taboo about like, hey, I might not know everything, but let's work on this together, right? Creating a cooperative element together. I think for all of it, we want to make sure that parents have a tool set that they can all honestly look at themselves, right? I think a good example is, if I'm teaching, giving my kid piano lessons, I might look at it, I might understand it, I might try and figure out, what is this about, right? In the end, without the active parental engagement, kids are going to give up and kids are going to disappear from that engagement, and that's why we want to make sure we have that conversation between parents and kids.
So tell me about Stockpile. Where do you fit in the financial literacy ecosystem?
Yeah, I think the big thing that we've always focused on from the beginning is this idea of kids choose, parents approve. We've worked on a lot of research with behavioral scientists, teen mental health experts, and the idea is really giving kids empowerment and agency into their decision processes. One of the things that's important is we want to make sure that kids learning is not kids need to make money. That's not the point of learning at all. The point is going through the hands-on experience of knowing, hey, you could lose money, you could do this. It's important for kids to build resilience and real expectations that their parents are engaged with together. And so, we often say that, you can't get good at basketball by reading about basketball, right? That's what we're focused on, is getting kids real hands-on engagement with real money that involves their parents together.
All right, Victor, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me at Money 2020. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.